Hello and welcome to another project for data recovery. This project is performed and presented to you by the company Not Without IT. Not Without IT has over 30 years of experience in advanced IT support, data recovery, cloud computing, setup, configuration and installation of firewalls, local area network, Wi-Fi and security. Especially when it comes to issue with the coverage of wireless network and signals, make sure to contact us so we can come to you and set up and configure your wireless network properly and securely. Today I have been called to visit this company that works with development and research of medical devices for robotic surgery. Watch this video, and in case you have similar issue and need advanced data recovery or any other kind of IT support, please visit our website notwithoutit.com or see in the description below. I am in the lab and standing in front of the computer that controls robot surgery arms. This computer system is at least 12 to 15 years old and act as a system center for robotic research and surgery. This picture shows the system when it was functional and when it worked around 12 to 13 years ago, and they were able to perform robotic surgery with this machine. The operating system that they used was Unix and also Windows 7 Professional. Several gigabytes of animal study and scientific data are stored on the hard drive on this computer, which has completely crashed. So I'm here today to try to recover the data from this computer system. I see that there is a cable, internet cable that going from the back of the computer to the port on the wall, but it seems that right now there is, I see the contact here at the back of the computer, so that's a good sign. It's now time to go to the router room and server room to make sure that I can access the computer from the network. I'm checking around and trying to investigate to see what's the issue is and why the system has completely crashed. When they called me, they told me that that Windows doesn't start and they cannot get access to the data that they have there. Tremendous amount of important and very sensitive scientific data are stored on the hard drives on this system, and they need to access the data and all the information, picture, scientific data, the lab reports. So there are lots of important data that need to be rescued from this crashed system. It seems that when they purchase these systems, they use the company box. I'm going now to investigate and make sure that this computer is accessible via network. Okay, let's start the computer and see what's happening. Right away, I get indication that the system has issue and the Windows will not start normally. Make sure that in this situation never select launch a startup repair, because you might lose all your data. Although this is recommended by Microsoft, never process through startup repair. I need to make sure that the system is kept intact as much as possible. I have also burned Linux Kali on a DVD-ROM which I have with me here, and I'm going to boot the system with Linux Kali in order to get access to the content of the computer. Basically, I'm going to pass by Windows since Windows has crashed on the computer, and I'm also going to basically investigate the content of the data with help of Linux Kali. As you can see, Windows has crashed and cannot boot the computer. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to boot the computer with help of Linux Kali. I'm going to put also the link in the description below in case you want to download it and burn it on a DVD-ROM or create a bootable USB drive. This system is very old, and it is not possible to boot this machine from USB drive. So that's why I always have Linux Kali with me, even on a DVD-ROM. As I was assigned to this project, I called the company and asked them in case they have any NAS on the network, which they have. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to that NAS, sign in, create a directory or a folder there on that NAS, and then make sure that the NAS and this computer are on same network. And then I'm going to step by step run necessary commands on this computer in order to from Linux Kali communicate with the network, and then with that NAS, and then with that shared network directory on the NAS. I have now walked to the location of the server, and behind this printer at the back of the server rack, the NAS is there. So I'm going to go to the back of the rack, open it, and check the NAS and see what kind of NAS it is. And then I'm going to create a folder on the NAS, provide it with security and encryption, and then share it on the network, which I can access myself. I'm going to assign myself as a user and with a password. Then I'm going to step by step show you how you mount that shared network drive on a NAS inside a Linux environment, and then how you can copy and paste data from a Linux machine to a shared network drive on a NAS. Okay, I can already see that the NAS is a Synology, so I have the information that I need. Next step is that I'm going to sit in front of a computer and run the Synology tool to find this NAS on the network and create a directory and share it as I explained for you before. Let me check if there are any more NASs inside the server rack. Yes, this one, no, this one is too old, and we cannot use that. And I also find out that this this QNAP NAS is on another network, so we cannot use that. I'm going to sit here now in front of this computer and sign in to the Synology NAS, create a directory on the NAS, and then provide it with the required permission, and then share it on the network. Then I'm going back to the Windows computer that we have booted with a Linux Kali, and will mount this shared network drive into that Linux environment. I have signed into the NAS with admin privileges, selecting control panel, then shared folder, and I'm creating a new shared network drive. Give the shared network drive a name. Make sure to check enable data checksum for advanced data integrity. And provide a user with read-write access to the folder. In this case, I have already created a username for myself, and I'm going to assign myself read-write access to that shared network drive. So the folder is now created. I don't need this folder, so I'm removing it. And I am going to use the folder that ends with number 01 that you see there. I'm now going to go back to the Linux computer and show you how you mount this network directory into the Linux environment. Okay, I'm going now to boot the system with the Linux Kali. And once the system is rebooted, I'm going to perform some configuration, and then I will show you how to mount the network drive on the Synology NAS on this machine. It was very complicated to find and identify the port on this patch panel that goes to the computer. In order to identify the port, I used wire tracker and port identification tool, and then I was able to identify the signal and pick up the signal that goes to the computer from patch panel. Okay, the system is booted with the Linux Kali, but the first thing I see is the issue with internet connection. I was able to ping the NAS on the network, so this computer and the Synology NAS are on same network. However, I cannot connect to internet. Let's see what's the problem is. The issue is that the CMOS battery on the motherboard is dead and the computer showing wrong time and date. When this happens, Linux will not allow you to communicate with the internet, and especially, for example, Google Chrome web browser will not work. So although today is 18th of February 2022 and the time is 11:27, the computer is showing completely wrong time and date. So what I'm going to do, write some commands and make sure that the computer has the proper and correct date and time. The list of all the commands will going to be in a description below in the comment section on this video. I'm going to update the system so we have the latest update from Linux Kali. I'm now going to install Linux Nautilus, which is basically similar to a file manager in Windows, and will provide you with the read-write access permission to all the drivers on the system, including the NAS. So what Nautilus does, it provides you with root privileges, which means that you can create directories and copy paste files there to that directory, even those that you are creating on the NAS. Let's go through configuration of date and time. Let's check the available time zones. I'm in US Pacific. So I'm setting the time zone to US Pacific. Okay, the date and times is set up properly on the machine. In order to mount a NAS network drive into the Linux machine, first of all, you need to install Command Internet File System Package, which is CIFS utility package. The CIFS package provides you support for cross-platform file sharing with the Microsoft Windows and also Apple Mac OS, as well as Unix systems. Once this package is installed, then you can mount the network driver into the Linux machine. The Command Internet File System Package Protocol, or CIFS, is now installed on the system, which means that now I can easily mount any network drive into this Linux machine. I'm going to create a directory on the desktop and call it Synology, and then with help of the command that you see here, I'm going to mount the shared network drive on the NAS into this directory on the desktop called Synology. Be also advised that all the commands that I'm using are with sudo, starts with sudo. Once the communication with the network drive on the NAS is established, I need to provide The credentials that I created on the NAS, which is my username and the password that I selected when I created that user on the NAS and then provided the user read-write access to that shared directory on the NAS. As you see here, I'm providing my username that I earlier created on the NAS, then the IP address of the NAS, followed by the network shared drive on the NAS that I created, and then followed by location of the Synology directory on the desktop here. Voila! The communication is established and the system asked me for providing password in order to get access to the network shared drive on the NAS. The NAS drive is now mounted into Synology directory on the desktop. Since I earlier installed Nautilus, I have now root access and root privileges on the network driver on this system, and as I right click, I can see this option called Open as Root. If Nautilus is not installed, you will not be able to getting right access to the network drive on the NAS. The list of the commands that I'm going to use are at the left side of the screen, and then you will find them also in the description below. There are two hard drives on the Windows machine that need to be recovered to the Synology NAS. So I'm going to create another directory on the NAS called HD2, which stands for hard drive number 2, and then we have already one called hard drive number 1. Be advised that you need to sign in and get root access to the system, which why I installed Natulius tools before. As you can see, I have now access to the hard drives on the Windows machine, although the Windows machine was never able to start. Although the Windows machine was provided with a very complicated password, as I signed into the Windows machine with a Linux-based system, you can pass by all those security as they were never been existed. So as you see, I have now full access to both the hard drives on the Windows machine inside this Linux environment. I'm going to select all the directories on the hard drive number 1 on the Windows machine and paste it to directory hard drive number 1 on a Synology drive which is mounted into the Linux here, and then later I will do the same thing with hard drive number 2. So as you see, we have now been able to mount the Synology shared network drive on our Linux Kali system. And the next thing I'm doing is that I select those directories that I need, right click on them, copy and paste them into the shared network drive which is on the NAS. And this process will take around maybe 5-6 hours because the amount of data is huge. It's around over 130 gigabyte of data, and the network card and system is very slow, so it's going to take lots of time. So I have selected all the directories except the recycle bin. Right click on them, copy, and paste them into this new directory that I created on the NAS, and basically click on paste. So the process of recovering the data has started now, so we are now going to see when the file are going to be transferred. Be aware of that within a couple of minutes you will get an error message regarding that some system files are not able to be copied, which is okay. Just click on skip all, so you don't need those files. So the transferring of the files are in progress, and we have around over 5 hours of it takes over 5 hours to transfer all these files. So we'll see. I will going to show you the rest of the project and let you know the result of this project. I'm now back in front of the NAS, and I'm going to verify that the data transferring is in progress. Very good. I can verify that the directory is being created on the NAS, and all the directories from the Windows machine are about to be transferred to the NAS. Okay, I'm back here now, and I see that the data being transferred, and I'm about to verify the amount of data and compare the data that we have on the shared NAS on the Synology NAS, and the amount of data that we have on this computer. So as you see, almost exactly, yeah, actually it's exactly the same amount that's been transferred. So thank you guys for this video. In case of any question, let me know in the comment. Take care, bye. The files are on way to be transferred to this is the second hard drive. And these are all the directories, 130 gigabytes of data. And if exactly same copy of this stuff are there, then you don't need to do that, right? Or these are different?
No, I think they're the same.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. I'm documenting everything I'm doing, and then I will put it on YouTube.